So yesterday what we have discussed about Git workflow, how Git works. This is the second part. Nothing but yesterday we have completed first episode. Today the second episode of the web series. So how to learn this Git and what is the approach, right? We will start Git by working on one system. So I will show you how to work on Git on one system. Then after we will slowly add one more system. And we are going to discuss what are the Git features, how it tracks, and how Git will works. So we will be using Git completely from command line. Nothing but I'm going to execute commands from command line because in real time we are going to work on only command line. This is not Windows, right? By right clicking and creating files and all. So we need to work on only on command line. So I will show you on command line itself. Then after we are going to discuss about distributed version control system, right? Nothing but GitHub, what is this code commit, what is this Azure source repos, that part will be secondary. And how organizations use Git for their product lines, how companies will use Git. So that will also you will going to learn in upcoming days. So if you see, Handy is a developer. He has installed Git in his local laptop and he started working. So in the same way we are also going to have a Git in our local system and we start working. Okay, I will go through the slides, then after I will show you practically. First I will show you the overview, then after we can directly start the practical part. So you need to understand the workflow of Git. If you don't understand, very difficult, right? What is the areas of Git? You will be having working tree, staging area, and local repo. Right? Whenever you add any file, it will be under working tree. In order to add that file into the next stage, you need to git add, then it will comes to staging area. Again from staging area, if you want to add to local repo, you need to commit it. Git commit. If you observe yesterday what I have done on the first stage with real life example, there is only a tree. Then after adding water, the tree get a some fruits. Nothing but he has gone to a staging area where he can start earning. Then after what he had done, he has done some commitment with local owner and he started earning money. It's like that you need to remember because Git was designed in such a way. You need to remember all these terms, then only you can able to work in Git. Okay, now let's come back. Getting started with Git, working with local repository. First you need to create a repository. What is this repository? Yesterday we have already discussed, right? Repository is nothing but a empty folder, right? In Linux world it is called it as a directory, but in Git it is called as repository. Just a moment. Yeah, try to join early. Okay, so in order to initialize, you need to execute git init. Whenever you execute git init in the empty folder, a .git folder will be automatically created. So using this .git only, Git will play that working tree, staging area, local repo, how these terms, all these terms will be executed. So if you see, hello Git is just a folder in Linux world, in Windows, right? In Linux it is called it as directory. I want to convert this folder into a repository. In order to convert that, you need to execute git init, then initialize empty git repository. It will automatically create a .git folder. What is this .git folder? You just ignore it. This is the first class. You will not understand. Slowly you will learn what is this dot git. I will show you like what is dot git and all in upcoming sessions. Right now, whenever you execute git in it, a dot git folder will be created. So this working tree, staging area, local repo, these things will be worked only with dot git folder. So history will be maintained using this dot git folder. That's it. What is that history which we are going to discuss? So make changes and query status. Now what I will do, I will try to add some new files inside this folder. Nothing but folder, not that folder. It's called it as repository. What I did here, using a touch command, I have created a new file, welcome.txt. Then I have executed git status. If you see untracked file, I have got a red, nothing but it's a working tree. So in git, untracked file is a nothing but a new file. Whenever you add any new file, it call it as untracked file. In Windows, whenever you add a file, it called as new file, right? New file, new file. But in git world, it is a untracked file. So from working tree, I need to add these changes to staging area. Yes or no? Add changes to staging area. To add, what you need to do? You need to execute a command called as git add file name. So whenever you execute git status, it is now in staging area. So from staging area, you need to add this to where? Local repo. In order to do that, you need to use commit, right? Once we commit the changes, the history will be maintained. To maintain history, git requires committer's email ID, committer's name, what is the message, right? So before committing, you need to configure who are you. You need to configure that. What is that? And it's a one-time job. In order to configure, you need to give the username and mail ID. So you need to create an account in github.com. So try to create an account in github.com, and I will show you, just a moment, I will show you the overview. Let me complete this slide. Right, commit message is provided. During commit, right, you need to execute git commit -m first commit. Whenever you execute git status, there is nothing will be there. If you execute git log, you can see the history of changes. If you see who is the author, on which date this commit was done, and this is the first commit. I told you right yesterday, group of developer going to work on project. They need to have some tool so that they can track the changes. Yes, yesterday we have discussed or not. So by using this git log, we can track the changes, right? Okay, Rahul has done these changes. Rahul has committed these changes, right? Like this, Ravi has committed these changes. Directly you can check this on which time he has done the changes. As a human being, we will forget what we have done. But if you have this tool, we can track who has done these changes. Like that, at least we can monitor. We will get the history. That is called as an history. How this will work? Git can able to operate these things using that .git folder. That's the reason whenever you execute git init, a .git folder will be created. These things will be maintained inside this .git folder. Then only you can able to see all these things. Backend, it is using .git folder to maintain all these things. Okay, now I will go to github.com. github.com. So if you don't have an account, try to create an account in GitHub. So if you see, I already log in to my account, right? If you can see, Devops easy. My username was Devops easy. Okay, I will go to my profile. Okay, have multiple repositories, popular repositories, right? Repositories, DevOps real time, Argo CD, right? What is this repository? Repository is nothing but one type of folder. In Git world, it is called it as repositories. Yes or no? You can create your own repositories. Repository name, right? Description is, I told you right yesterday. I have shown you multiple types of repositories will be there. One is public, another one was private. If public, everyone can able to see. Private, no one can able to see. If you click on create repository, repository will be created. This is the UI part, right? I have told you we are going to work on command line. Yes. Now I will not create any repository. So first, your task was to create an account in AWS Cloud. Once that was done, try to create an account in github.com. Go right away today and try to create a new account with your username, and we are going to store your projects, whatever you are going to work, whatever the Kubernetes files you are going to create, everything you need to store in this, in your repository, and you need to update the same thing in your resume as well. So try to create a unique name. So I have created DevOps Easy. As I am maintaining company, I am created DevOps Easy. For you, you need to create your name, right, with your name and with your own name as per your Aadhaar card, whatever the name you have. Try to create the same name itself, so that it will be help you for your resume. So whatever the name you are mentioning inside your resume, try to create that name with that name itself, and you can give that URL github.com/ your username in your resume, so that they will directly go to that repository and they will check what you have done. Like that, you there will be a high chances to shortlist. Okay, then let's come back to our slides. So like this, you can able to, whenever you execute git log, you can see I have given the message as first commit, right? I can able to see the message along with on which date this message was committed, right? Who has committed this message, what is the ID of this. So everything was getting, right? That's the beauty of this git. Whatever you done commit, for every commit you will be having a message on which time you have committed, on which date you have committed, who has committed this. For every commit you will be having a ID will be generated, commit ID. So this is areas of Git you need to understand, right? Working tree, staging area, and local repo. Whenever you add any file, that file is nothing but a untracked file, right? New file, call it as untracked file. Yeah, Manjunath,
Yes,
try
sir.
to join early and mute yourself. Right, whenever you add any new file, it is called it as untracked file in Git. So from working tree, if you want to add changes to staging area, you need to execute git add. Right, from staging area, if you want to do add to local repo, please try to mute yourself, getting some background noise. We can use git commit. So before committing, I told you, right, you need to do some configuration, which is git config, username and email ID you need to give. I told you that you need to create an account in GitHub. So you need to give the same email ID which you have given in GitHub, right, with same username which you have given in GitHub. So then after, let's do the second commit. What I have done here, I have created a new file, welcome.txt. Nothing but I have edited the welcome.txt. Whenever you execute git status, now you can see the modified welcome.txt. Whenever you add a empty new file, it is called as untracked file. So after you have added that file to the local repo, then it is when if you edit the same file again, it is called it as modified file. Right, what I have done, this welcome.txt was already added. If you see git commit, first commit I have done, right, at the time I was already to add it to the local repo, which is already added to the local repo. I am editing that file. That's the reason it is called it as modified. If I added again new file, that file call it as untracked file, because there is no history present in that file, right? So I have executed git status, you can see modified. I want to add this to staging area. Git add, you can give the file name, then after git commit -m second commit, right? We are going to do all these things practically. So whenever you execute git log, you can see the first commit, second commit, commit id, on which time you have did the commit, who is the author, right? Now I am getting Devops easy, right? I have given the email id and the username. So like this you can track who are doing these changes. So in git we add changes to staging area from working tree, right? From working tree we will add the changes to staging area. New files are referred as untracked file, as they were not part of version control system. So every new file call it as untracked file. So if you see, I have edited vi welcome.txt. Then after I have created a new readme.txt file. Whenever I execute git status, if the history was already present, then it is called as modified file. If you created just now, then it is called as untracked file. A new file will call it as untracked file. If the file was already added, if you are editing that, it is called as modified file. These terms will go understand once you practice, and you need to watch the recording once again, you will get. So from staging area, if you want to add, you need to execute git add file name, then after git status, then after you need to commit that git commit third commit, then you can see the git status, git log, history of changes. If you want to delete a file, that is also added as a change itself, right? I am trying to delete the readme.txt file. Whenever you execute git status, it will show deleted readme.txt. So every change will, whatever you have done, everything will be considered as a change itself. That's the beauty of git. So in future, if you want to see what are the files you have deleted, that one also you can see using git log. So that's the reason commit message is very important. You need to give the commit message accordingly, so that in future, if you by seeing this commit message, you will get a point, okay, like that. One more thing, very important interview question, right? Git will not track empty directories. When you add files to directories, then git will consider the files added. If you see this, I have created a hello folder. Whenever I execute git status, nothing to commit, working tree clean. So empty folders, empty repositories, git will not consider it as a changes. Git only consider files, right? If you see, I've just added a new file on hello folder. Whenever I execute git status, right, it has given untracked files. So git will not consider any directories or repositories. If there is a files inside the repository, then it will consider it as a change. Git will not track empty directories. When you add files to the directories, then git will consider the files added. Git add, git commit. Same thing will be repeated. Git add, right? Git commit, git add, git commit, git log to see the history. First time it will be a little bit confusing. Once you practice, it will be easy for you. So whenever you execute git log, you can see the history of changes. So if you want to see the history in one line, you can execute git log -f one line. Then it will show you the history in one line, right? Then after, if you want to see on that commit ID whatever the files have added, you can see the git show and the commit ID. Then automatically it will show what are the files you have added, what you have done the changes. Everything will be, it will show a little bit history of that commit ID. By seeing that commit ID, you can get, okay, I have done these changes like that. Anyway, I will show you this practically, right? You can compare between two commits as well, right? You can see the difference between two commits, git diff one commit ID and another commit ID. So if you see, the difference is, have added a new content inside this welcome.txt. This is the content I have added. Like that you can compare between two commit IDs. So if you added multiple folders, multiple files but if you want to add all files at a time, what is the command? You can execute git add dot or hyphen capital A. Then it will add all changes. Where from working tree it will add all changes to staging area. Git add dot. Then from staging area, if you want to add to local repo, git commit finished feature. So what next? Try to create an account in AWS and try to create an account in GitHub. So shall we do the same thing practically, whatever I've shown you? So if you see hello git, so as I told you, I will not play with UI, I will play with command line. Okay. So whenever I execute git init, a .git folder will be created. Shall we execute git status? Okay, no commit set, nothing to commit, because there is no files was added. Shall we try to add a new file? Yes, I will try to add a new file, touch welcome dot txt. Okay, shall we execute git status again? Untracked file. Whenever you add a new file, it call it as untracked file. Shall I clear the screen? I will execute git status again. Whenever you add any new file, it is called as untracked file. Now I want to add these changes to staging area. If you see, git only giving you an hint, use git add to track, right? It red color is nothing but it is under working tree. Now if you want to add, git add file name. What is the file name? welcome.txt. Enter. Now I will execute git status. Now it is in staging area, right? From staging area, if I want to add, I need to give the commit. I will clear screen. Git commit -m. This is first commit. Enter. It will not throw an error because I have already done the configuration. For you it will throw an error. For that you need to give git config -- global. You need to give user dot name Devops easy, right? Then after enter. So this is the task for you, how to configure git config. User dot email, give the email ID Devops easy @ you need to give your email ID, don't give my email. Okay, once you create your account in GitHub, right, try to give the username and user email. That's it. Enter. Now I will execute git log. So if you see DevOps easy, DevOpsCC@gmail.com. How I'm getting this order? Because you need to config that git config --- global user dot name. Then you need to give the username, user dot email. Then only it will give use dot as order. So this is the first commit, right? This is the message I have given, right? On which date I have committed? January 30 at 9:36, right? On 2024 year. So everything you can track. Okay. Now shall we add one more change? I will clear the screen. Now I will not do. I will try to edit this file. Welcome.txt. This is for testing. Okay. I am just added some content. I will come out of this file. I will execute git status. Whether this file is untracked file or modified file. Modified file, because I have already committed this file to local report. That's it. That's the reason it is called as modified file. Okay. Now I will try to add new file. Touch. What is the file name? I will give a readme.txt. I will execute git status. Right, untracked file is nothing but readme.txt was added just now, because there is no history present in the local repository. That's the reason it is called as untracked file. If the history was already present, then it is called as modified file. Right. Now I want to add both files. Git add readme.txt. Another file name was welcome.txt. Enter. Git status. Right, both files was added to staging area. Git commit -m. This is sorry, this is second commit, right? Or third commit. Second commit. Git log. Like this you can able to maintain the histories. So I want to delete the file ls rm readme.txt. Every deleted file also will be considered as a changes. Right, deleted rm.txt ls. Right, I would remove readme.txt. How I can able to get to know in future these are the files was deleted? So that you need to git add git status. So git commit -m. This is third commit. I have added. I will just for identification I'm adding a message as deleted readme. Okay, git log. Okay, I have given a message so that you need to give a message in such a way in future if you see that message you can get what you have done, right? So now I will try to create a mkdir hello. I will execute git status. What? I have created a folder but it is showing nothing to commit, working tree clean. Why? Because in git will not consider folder or directory as a change. Only file will be considered as a change. What I will do, I will try to create a file inside this folder. Then after shall we check git status. I will create test file test.txt. So I will create one more file test1.txt. Shall we execute git status right now? Yes. Now it is telling. Now it is showing untracked file. So if you are creating empty directories, git will not consider it as a change. Now I want to add this. Git add hello folder. Enter. Git status. Git commit -m added a folder with a files. Which folder? Added a, what is the folder name? Hello folder. Git log, right? So you need to give the commit message so that in future if you say okay, this is third commit, deleted it. Oh, on this commit I have deleted a file. Okay, I have added a hello folder with some files. Okay, so by seeing this read commit message, even if I forget, I can track. So git log, it will show you the commit history. If I want to see the logs in one line, what is the command?
Git log hyphen one line.
Yes. I will first clear the screen. So only commit ID and commit messages will be displayed. If you want to see the brief one, on which date it was committed, who is the author of this committer, that all things if you want to do, just execute git log. No, you don't want anything. You just want commit ID and message. You can use git log -hyphen one line. And if you want to commit, if you want to see the difference between two commits, I want to difference between 2 and 3, right? Commit ID and 3. In between both commits, what is the difference? Enter. Sorry, I've just given both commit IDs. You need to give the command, right? What is the command?
Git difference.
Yes, git diff. So what is the difference between this second commit and third commit? I have deleted a file, right? Which file? Readme.txt file. Difference git is, in this second commit I have added a readme.txt file. On the third commit I have deleted the file. Now shall we see the difference between this and third commit and hello folder? So if you see, new file, text was added, new file, test1 was added. Now I want to see only single commit. I don't want to see any difference. I want only one commit. I will give the third commit. I will clear the screen. So I'm only seeing one commit. Git show commit ID. In this commit, what I have done, I have deleted a file, readme.txt file. Yes, like this you can able to monitor the changes. But as a DevOps engineer, we are not going to see any type of difference, right? Because as a developer, they might see this histories, commit changes, what I have done. But as a DevOps engineer, you need to have an idea. For that purpose, I am showing you. But in reality, we are not going to check all these changes and all because we doesn't need it. But yeah, as you are working on Kubernetes deployment and service file, that things you are going to commit, right? At that time, you can make utilize of these things. So tracking changes, all this thing will be developers headache. Okay. Now, shall we add multiple changes at a time? If you want to add multiple changes at a time, what you can do? First, I will try to create a new folders. Okay, inside this folder will not consider as a change. Inside this, I will add a file. Touch. I'm just adding some dummy files. Main.py. Okay, git status. So I want to add all at a time. What is the command? Git add hyphen help. I will give hyphen help. I don't know what to execute. Sorry. Command. There is a git add double add d. So whenever you execute git add hyphen help, it will go to the official website of Git. Okay, it will show the brief description. Git status command can be used to obtain summary of which files. Right, git add. What are the options? Right, hyphen a, hyphen all. You can all add all like update the index not only where the working tree has file matching, but also where the index it already has an entry. So git add hyphen capital A option is used all files in the entire working tree are updated. So I will execute git status. I will execute git add hyphen capital A. I will execute again git status. Right? Both the changes was added to staging area. So git add hyphen capital A. So what is the difference between git add dot and git add hyphen capital A? The main difference is git add dot will only consider the changes in this current directory. Git add hyphen capital A not only on the current directory as well as wherever present. Like for suppose mkdir, I have created a demo folder, right? I have gone inside this demo folder. Here also I have created one mk. Here I have created some touch demo.py. Here I will try to create one more folder, demo underscore test. So I will try to create a new file inside this demo underscore test, demo dot py, demo test dot py, demo t dot py. So I will come back ls, right, git status. Okay, I will go inside this demo folder, git status. cd dot dot. So git add dot git status. So whatever files present in this current directory, it will add all the changes. ls. In my current directory, what is there? Demo was there. So it will add all demo, hello, src, test, whatever new changes are added, it will consider all the changes. What is that about dot? Only in this current directory it will consider. Git add hyphen capital A, not only on this current directory. Backside if there is any changes, that will also it will consider it. That's the git, both are same. Dot or hyphen capital A, both are same. Dot is only considered on this current working directory. Hyphen A nothing but it will consider from anywhere. Okay, git status, git commit hyphen m web series got a second episode, right? This is the second episode, right? Sorry, typo. Git log, right? This is what you need to do today. I have ended with second episode. That's it. That's it for today. Try to practice the same thing, right? Already you can check. I will show you the class notes, right? Whatever we have discussed today, everything was provided with screenshot. Yes, just go through it, practice. I will try to update the recording. I told you, right, today's class also will be available on the YouTube. From tomorrow, if you want to continue, just do the payment, right? From tomorrow onwards, I will provide you the class notes access. From tomorrow onwards, recording will not be shared on YouTube, it will be shared privately. So I will stop the recording.